I thought I could. Chief Miles O'Brien has been transporting people for 22 years and he hasn't lost anyone yet. Lieutenant Barkley appears inordinately preoccupied with his physiological condition, and Chief O'Brien found his pet Christina, the Lycosa tarantula, on Titus 4. Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Seventh Rule with Sirach Lofton.
Hello.
My name is Ryan T. Husk, and today we're doing a review of Star Trek The Next Generation Season 6. Episode 2, Realm of Fear.
Yeah.
Sounds like a fantasy video game. Written by Brannon Braga, directed by Cliff Bole. This was September 26th, 1992. Where were you? And how are you today, Sirach?
I'm good. Cliff Bole.
So, also, we want to point out a very special thanks to our friend Immo Radka out in Germany for sponsoring this episode.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Immo. The OG.
The
AP,
OG.
right?
That's right. Yeah.
He is the original AP. Immo Radka, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode on our Indiegogo. All right, everybody, please make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon for notifications. If you're listening in, give us a 5-star rating and a nice review. We'd really appreciate it. And then Big League Chew for everybody. Oh, and visit us. Yeah, visit us on patreon.com/the7th rule to become part of the team and support the show. We'd really appreciate that. Sirach, you love Big League Chew, right? I mean, you got to.
That was a very good callback memory for me because the smell of that Big League Chew when you open that package, you have the grape or the other regular one.
Strawberry, I think maybe it's the regular bubble.
Strawberry.
Yeah. Oh man. Right.
It's literally, and I don't know what it made me feel like a baseball player too, popping that thing open and just taking them shreds of chewing tobacco for some reason.
Yeah, well, that's what they were trying to, just like candy cigarettes. But that it made you flavorful. It was almost like luxurious. It was almost like, damn, boy, if you can afford a Big League Chew, life is pretty good right now. Oh man, that's good stuff. Anyway.
Yeah, that was back in the bubble blowing days. You know, there was also bubble tape. There was the
fruit stripe gum if you like flavor for 14 seconds.
Yes, we had the Hubba Bubba.
Oh yeah.
Hubba Bubba.
Yep. Double Bubble. Shout out to Cheech and Chong. Hey, Double Bubble. That's a line in Cheech and Chong. Anyway, let's talk about this episode. I'm going to get some Big League Chew and take it to Vegas. They have like 8 flavors now. It's nuts. Not nuts flavored, but anyway, the point is, Sirach, you've never seen this episode before. You've never seen TNG before. You're doing your first watch through. What did you think of this episode?
Well, you know, let me just say, I think I really like Dwight Schultz and Barclay's character. Lieutenant Barkley, is that his name?
Yep.
Yeah. It feels like he embodies the type of character that's not really shown as much in Star Trek that we could use. And that is somebody who is unsure of themselves.
And very flawed. Yeah.
Yeah. And it feels like, you know, the characters that we get, everybody is so confident and so disciplined through the, you know, Starfleet Academy training and whatever it takes to become an officer in this military. But, you know, there are people that still have certain issues of either socially blending in with people. They have anxiety issues. They have self-confidence issues. There's all kinds of, you know, very reasonable, understandable complexes that we develop based on our life experiences. And I think that Barkley embodies the kind of person that, you know, we all have in us at times when we feel like either the responsibility is too big for us, or we're not sure if we can deliver in the moment, or if we have a genuine fear of something, which is the case in this particular episode. And Barkley seems to have a lot of fears and anxieties about things, but I think this one in the transporter, you know, reminded me the same kind of fears that we all have. So I really like Barkley as a character because the flaws of him allow us to reflect on our own flaws and have sympathy for somebody. Because there was moments there when I'm watching this episode and you're like, is the crew going to believe him? Are they going to just make him like, like make him feel bad and like it's all on you and you have a mental psychosis and you're crazy? And I felt that the way that the crew approached believing him and giving him the benefit of the doubt and examining further. I think O'Brien at one point was like, I'll double check it. I'll run another diagnostic.
That was so sweet. Yeah. And he's like, oh, you don't have to. He's like, no, you can come help me. Actually, there was a moment there where when he did that, I was like, isn't Barkley your superior? Like, it's weird for Chief O'Brien to be like, tell you what, you can come help me with this. And Barkley should be like, I will help you with this, but not because you said it. Like, it was just a funny little thing right there. But it's like Barkley makes you feel like you can talk to him. Like, hey, come on, buddy. I got you. Let me put my arm around you. But you're liking him, right?
Well, that speaks to what I'm saying about the chain of command.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the discipline of the military, because of the discipline of chain of command, there is a level of casualness that's removed from a relationship while you're, functioning, while you're doing your job, while you're performing your duty. And I felt like Barkley allows us to break the norm on that because there's a sensitivity to, his feelings and, and what he's experiencing and, what his perception is. And I think that sensitivity was handled well by the rest of, the crew. And that's what I really loved about this episode. It showed us how the crew is compassionate for their fellow crewmen, but it also showed that they didn't distrust him. Dr. Crusher was like, I'm going to run an exam on your laural epidermal skin, whatever, just saying, look, we're going to look for those. We're going to look to see if there's something there because I didn't think I checked hard enough. And just little things like that were ways that you reinforce and reassure somebody where the opposite could be easily true and you can destroy somebody as well in those same kind of moments. So if the crew had played towards his paranoia and said, something's wrong with you and basically, dismissed him, that could have snowballed to a bigger problem psychologically for him. He would have felt alone. Then he would have actually been injured and not been able to feel like he can tell anybody. And so that could have snowballed to a bad situation, which in life it could snowball to a bad situation if you don't have the kind of people that are there to listen to you, to take note of your feelings, to understand what you're going through, and be able and basically counsel you in those kinds of moments. So that's what I loved about this episode.
Yeah, and you'll recall that they were not always this supportive of Barkley. Remember when he was first introduced? I mean, and it was partially his own fault, of course, because he was acting like an idiot, like on the holodeck. It's okay. It's your own fantasy. You do whatever. But people don't like to see that about themselves. Well, no, he was doing some things that were inappropriate too, but people didn't like him. And I think Picard was going to transfer him or Geordi was saying he can't work with the guy. But then they've gotten through that, and it showed how far they've gotten with him, that Picard, like the biggest moment to me in that regard was when Picard was kind of like, are you sure, And Barkley says, Captain, I wouldn't have called you in here if I wasn't absolutely positive. And Picard thought about it, and he's like, yeah. And he said, all right, Mr. Worf, do this. Beverly, do that. It's like, all right, let's go. It's game time. It's action. And I thought that was really cool where he's like, yeah, okay, I believe you, Mr. Broccoli. So for me, I have seen this episode before. And before I even clicked on the episode, you see the little thumbnail image, and it was Mr. Barkley there. And I was like, oh, is this the transporter episode? And of course it was. And this is, to me, a very comfort food Star Trek episode. Like, maybe it's not the best episode ever, but it's an episode that I'm very happy to watch as many times as it would be shown to me. Even some episodes that I think are great, I wouldn't want to watch them a bunch of times. I don't need to. It's like too intense or something. This one I could watch over and over and over again, and it makes me happy. I love Barkley. I love Chief O'Brien. I love them being featured. It's easy. It's fun to watch. It's humorous. When I saw this, I was like, oh, this is good stuff. To me, this is such a quintessential TNG episode, even though it's nothing big, nothing major happens, but it's just, this is a TNG episode to me. If you said, name 10 TNG episodes off the top of your head, this would be one for me. It was one of the first ones I saw way back in the day, and I kind of peeked ahead to the next few episodes that are coming up in season 6. And I'm like, wow, there are a lot of very TNG episodes to me coming up. And this is definitely one of them. So did you laugh a lot, Sirach?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because first of all, Dwight Schultz is a fantastic actor. It's just no way around.
So fun. Yeah.
He's fun to watch. He's got these facial expressions where he really animates his face and gives you like looks, like all these looks on his face.
Like when he was listening to The Symptoms. That was the funniest.
Yes. Yes.
He's like, yeah, I think, oh, my heart. Yeah. I think I'm thirsty too.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yes. When he's listening to The Symptoms, and even when he's walking up to the transporter, as he's walking up there, in his face, just like his face trying to wrestle with, like, it's going to be all right. Don't worry. You got this. I think what did O'Brien said to him? He said, hey, don't worry. Just stay calm. And it was like, you're telling this guy to stay calm.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, and then when he was saying somebody else was transporting, and he was like, oh, we got some kind of problem here. And then Barkley's like hiding behind a column. He's like, he's like sweating. He's like, oh, no, we're okay. And he's like, okay. He's just so good. You could watch him all day.
Yeah, all day. Even in the office there, when he's sitting with Troy and she's kind of diagnosing him, and she's like, and he's like, he's sitting up and he's like, it's just total fear. And he just falls into the sofa, He's just very good, because he slightly overacts, right? I would say slightly, right? It's not too much where it's like, you're like, oh, come on, this guy's going too far. It's just enough where he emphasizes the nervousness, the anxiety, like, he's just really, really good actor.
It's comedic overacting, not like Mr. Bean level, but
right.
But like, he gives you a little bit more. He knows when he's getting a close up, and he knows this is the chance to give an extra nod or a thought or a frown or a surprised look. He just gives us so much. I'm sure directors must love to work with him, because they're just like, this guy just gives me a good take after good take after good take. I'm guessing, I've never worked with him. I don't know anything about him, but I'm guessing based on what he did on the A-Team and what he's done here, that's really all I know. 2 completely different shows, totally different characters, but incredible both ways. So I love Barkley, and I love Chief O'Brien, and I realized that they were kind of the 2 stars of this episode. And I feel like this may have been the first time in The Next Generation that the 2 main characters of an episode were not one of the regulars, not one of the 7, 8, or 9 regulars. Like when we had Ensign Rowe as one of the leads, it was with Geordi, or Guinan with Picard. Even that, I don't think we've ever had 2 guest stars or 2 recurring characters be the leads. And then I was thinking, like, I like these guys so much. Like, it's almost like they're my favorite characters of the next generation. And so it's just so fun to watch. It's fresh, it's new, it's not the same people. I love those people, but it's something new. And then I was thinking, like, the Mount Rushmore of guest stars or recurring characters of the next generation. It's those two for me. Plus, we also got a Nogawa. Nurse Ogawa was there. And then there's of course, Guinan, although she was considered a regular for a while there, and Ro Laren. And I know that's 4, but I feel like those are the 5 where towards the end, Next Generation had a few of their own Wayuns and Ducats, the people that kind of branching out a little bit that you see often. But I don't know, I'm just very happy with getting to see these secondary characters more and really kind of shine in this episode.
Yeah, and to that point, there was a moment there when I think it was Geordi, O'Brien, and I want to say Data
probably
working on a problem, like, solving an issue. And I thought, this is the greatest set of engineers you'd ever want to work on a problem.
Yep.
Between these guys, if they can't figure it out, there's no hope for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was really pleased. I also thought it was great to see O'Brien have so many lines. I think that's the most lines he's had in an episode.
Could be. Also, the one where he got turned into like a bad guy, like him and Troy and whoever else were turned into a bad guy. Data, that was a pretty good one. But yeah, this was the one. That's what I'm saying. Like, it was him and Barkley.
It was him and Barkley, and he had the moments there. He's like, "Hey, man, I know how you feel." And he's like, "Why, you're afraid of transporters too?" He's like, "No, arachnid." They're like, "What?" And Barkley's face is like, "What the hell does that have to do with my issue?" And so just seeing O'Brien have that many lines and that many scenes and that much responsibility was fantastic for me. I loved it. I can't say enough about Barkley. And, I want to say this about Barkley, which I think is fun to watch and add an extra element of joy for me while I was watching this episode. And that is, Barkley came from the A-Team, or Dwight Schultz came from the A-Team. And on the A-Team, it was Mr. T who had the biggest phobia of transportation on an airplane. I don't know if you remember that.
Only now that you say that. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. T, as big as he was, as buff as he was afraid of flying. And so when they needed to fly somewhere, they would concoct some way of either knocking him out.
Yeah, they would knock him out. That's what I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Here, drink this." You'd be like, "All right, whatever." And they drag him into there. That's right.
Yes.
I forgot about that. That's funny.
Yeah. So the irony for me was Dwight Schultz is now playing somebody who has a fear of a form of transportation. This is not flying. This is, getting beamed out. But essentially, he's playing the Mr. T guy, right? His take on this phobia, having a phobia, right?
Yeah.
So it's funny to me because I remember many times where Dwight Schultz's character was trying to convince Mr. T to get over his phobia. And now he is dealing with his own phobia where other characters from Star Trek are trying to tell him to get over his. So I thought that was just for me as a flashback on Dwight Schultz's career, which I actually, I've loved him as, I think he played Murdoch, right?
Yeah, Murdoch. So it's interesting when we saw the scene with him saying, "Oh, spiders never bothered me." It was funny to me because in an episode, I'm not going to say when, coming up, we have not seen it, Barkley will have a connection to spiders. I'm not going to say any more, but there's another one for me, quintessential TNG episode. And I had forgotten about this line, but it's funny to me to hear Barkley say, "Oh, I never had a problem with spiders." I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting. That's fitting. Anyway, so stay tuned for that. So anyway, Yeah, I just, again, we got a little bit of Nurse Ogawa too. So
When did you see Nurse Ogawa? You brought that up before. I don't remember seeing Nurse Ogawa.
it was in sick bay. It wasn't.
Okay. She did. She didn't have lines though. She was just kind
No,
of
she
dressed up.
did. Like, I was typing something and I heard her voice and I was like, "Is that Nurse Ogawa?" And I was like, "Yeah, cool. We saw her." But yeah, I don't remember exactly what she
So
said.
they were running tests on Lieutenant Kelly maybe during that time
Yeah,
when they had Lieutenant Kelly in the sick bay.
that's
Okay,
what it
because
was.
now it's coming to me too, but I didn't. She didn't jump out. You don't get a close up, and it's like, we
I'm trying
barely
to
know
see
you're
if
there.
I can look up the actual episode and what she did. I don't think I see it. I don't think there's like an actual still frame of her in that episode. But anyway, yeah, we definitely saw it. It might have only been one episode or one scene. Sorry. Yeah, you might be right there. But anyway, that was just great to see. I like her voice. It's very soothing. It's very nice. I like to see, she's also comfort food to me, honestly. When Ogawa is in there, it makes it feel more like Star Trek that I remember. For some reason, it just feels, it's just comforting to see her there, because I always hated like that sickbay was just one doctor and then sometimes some extras. I'm like, put more people in there, do something, give us something. Poor Beverly has to just, act to the background actor of the day. Like give her a friend, a confidant, a second in charge, somebody she trusts. And when I see Ogawa in an episode, for some reason it hits differently, and it makes me feel like, this is the next generation to me.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that way about O'Brien, even
Oh yeah.
though I haven't seen much of it. And that's one thing I'm learning now by watching the show. I thought O'Brien was heavily in this show, like a lot more than what I've seen him in. I think maybe I see him once every 5 or 6 episodes,
Mhm.
if that. Um, and I thought, that he was featured more in this show. Maybe up till now we've seen him
Maybe 20 times.
20 times.
Maybe. Yeah.
So
Right. I'll look it up. But yeah, he
maybe
was
20,
definitely,
maybe 25 times.
yeah, like a
Yeah.
recurring guy.
But
Deep Space
sometimes I
Nine had a
think
ton of
early on
those.
he barely had any lines,
Right.
right?
Right.
So he was really just like transporter chief, number one basically before.
Or security guard number one. Whoa,
Yeah.
he's actually in total 52 Next Generation episodes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, if you're in 52 episodes and it feels like you're in half as many, they're not giving you a ton of lines. He's featured here and there. He's heavily featured in a few episodes, but he
So
was
that's
definitely a guy that
roughly.
was growing.
So this is 52 over the total of his tenure on Next Generation.
Yep.
So out of the 7 seasons, he did 52.
Yes.
And he didn't come on until what, season 2 or 3?
No, he was in the first episode. If you'll remember, he was in a red uniform and he was on the battle bridge. He was in the pilot's position, and he was in the battle bridge when they separate the saucer from the ship, like that, and they kind of split off.
Yeah.
And they go, and he was the battle bridge guy, pilot, and his name in the episode was Battle Bridge Lieutenant. He didn't even actually have a name until his second appearance, but he's been there since episode 1. And they just kept bringing him back because they liked him. This was a guy that was just going to have like a line and be done. And I think they just kept liking him and bringing him back and apparently he's a fun, gregarious guy that people like. So,
oh yeah, no, he's an amazing guy. I did also remember doing. I remember reading some of Gene Roddenberry's notes And I think one of them was talking about, it was a letter that he wrote to the studio
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
requesting for an Irish American actor being more present.
Yeah, it was somebody saying they need more Irish or something. And they're like,
Yes.
oh, well, we happen to have a guy. So,
Yeah. So I wonder if that had influence on him getting more and
Definitely.
more
Absolutely.
visible. Yeah. And who was that? It was our Trek Talks guy.
John Billingsley?
No, not Trek Talks. Our Trek expert guy.
Larry Nemeczek.
Larry Nemeczek. Yes.
This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut that 5 seconds and send it to him.
Yes.
It's Sirach Lofton saying, that Trek expert guy. And I say, Larry Nemeczek. And you said, yeah, there is no bigger compliment than saying Trek expert. And the first name people throw out is your name.
Yes.
That's pretty big time.
Yeah, he's the expert. So, and he's the one that produced the archives of the Roddenberry files, emails that were sent. I think Roddenberry went to a convention, and while he was there, one of the fans asked questions about the presence of Irish American actors or something to that effect, and that he forwarded that interest from the fan back to the studios. And so I thought that was interesting that Larry Nemeczek was able to produce that document. But 52 episodes is essentially like roughly
2 seasons,
8 episodes. It's 8 episodes a season.
Yeah, 7 or 8. Yeah,
7 or 8 between there. And that's that means he probably was on. At some point, a probably 10 episode split, because they do these contracts weird. So in the beginning, he probably wasn't guaranteed any episodes. It was just Battle Bridge guy. And then somewhere along the line, they offered him something per 26. So maybe 10 out of the 26, 13 out of 26, or whatever your deal is.
Yeah, so we've got the breakdown of I got something to point out here, but we got to jump on our break. So we will enjoy a wonderful break, do a little slip and slide, and we'll be right back on the 7th rule.